All right, here we are, just 10 days out from the highly anticipated 2024 presidential election, and things couldn't be more intense. With both candidates racing to lock down critical swing states, Donald Trump's recent surge in the polls has drawn widespread attention. In this video, I'll be updating my latest 2024 electoral map forecast to give a clearer picture of where Kamala Harris and Trump currently stand in this all-important race to secure 270 electoral votes. By breaking down each state's likely outcome, especially the swing states, we can see how the entire map might shape up for both candidates on Election Day. Let's kick things off with Texas, a significant stronghold in Trump's column. For a while now, Texas has remained a conservative bastion, with Trump previously carrying the state by 6 points in 2020 and a stronger 9-point margin back in 2016. For 2024, the projections show Trump likely securing Texas by his largest margin yet, possibly hitting a double-digit lead. While it might not be as high as 15 points, we could realistically see Trump pulling off a victory by 7 to 10 percentage points. If he achieves this, Texas would then be classified as a likely red state in the electoral map. The last Republican to carry Texas by such a commanding margin was Mitt Romney in 2012, and a solid victory for Trump here would reinforce the state's reputation as a GOP stronghold. Next, let's move east to Florida, another critical state that holds 30 electoral votes. Florida has long been known as a swing state, often decided by tight margins, but recent election cycles have shown it leaning further toward the GOP, especially with Trump on the ticket. In the last presidential election, Trump managed to win Florida by a solid margin, surprising many analysts who had labeled it as a toss-up. As we look at the numbers for this cycle, Trump's lead in Florida ranges from 7 to 12 points, putting it firmly in the likely red category for 2024. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Turning our attention to Harris, her strongest path begins with traditionally Democratic states. But even here, the numbers show her base of support is a bit thinner compared to Biden's 2020 performance. Let's start with Oregon and New Jersey. Both states have leaned Democratic for years, and while Harris is expected to win them, she likely won't do so by the same margins as her predecessors. In Oregon, for example, the Democratic hold has been strong, but the state has a significant independent streak that adds a layer of unpredictability. New Jersey, while more reliably blue, shows a similar pattern of a slimmer lead than previous cycles. Both states then fall into the likely blue category, meaning they'll go blue but not by a huge margin. Now, let's look at New York, one of the most crucial states for the Democrats. With 28 electoral votes, New York is another major asset for Harris, but even here, her lead isn't as commanding as Biden's was in 2020, where Democrats usually aim for a 20-point or larger lead. Harris is expected to come in closer to 15 points, still a win, but not the robust margin of previous Democratic victories. This slim lead could be a sign of voter frustration over economic challenges and quality of life issues in key areas like New York City. The result? New York stays blue but is marked by a narrower margin, contributing to Harris's path but signaling a less energized base. Then there's Colorado, another state in Harris's column, but with shifting dynamics. Biden won Colorado by 14 points in 2020, yet Harris is projected to hold it by around 7 points this time, a sign that Democratic enthusiasm may not be as strong. Colorado's political landscape has a unique balance with a mix of liberal urban areas like Denver and conservative rural regions, creating an interesting dynamic. While Harris will likely keep Colorado blue, it's still noteworthy that her margin is expected to be less than Biden's. Summing up these core blue states, Oregon, New Jersey, New York, and Colorado, Harris currently sits at 1,091 electoral votes. This is a solid foundation, but it leaves her well short of the 270 she needs to win, emphasizing the importance of the remaining battlegrounds. These likely blue states give her a necessary boost, yet with several competitive states up for grabs, Harris faces an uphill battle to close the gap, especially as Trump gains traction in traditionally Democratic territory. Now let's zero in on the true battlegrounds, where this election will be decided. Harris's best chance lies in the Midwest, specifically in states like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Biden won all 4 of these states in 2020, a key part of his victory strategy. However, Harris is polling lower than Biden did, and even below where Clinton stood in 2016. Clinton's losses in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin were critical to Trump's 2016 win, and Harris now faces a similar challenge. Take Minnesota, for example. Harris holds a slight lead in Minnesota, largely due to the support of popular Democratic Governor Tim Walz. But her lead is nowhere near Biden's 7-point margin from 2020. This close race places Minnesota as lean blue, showing that while it's still in Harris's camp, the gap has narrowed significantly compared to past cycles. It's a reminder that without strong enthusiasm from her base, Harris could face challenges in what should be safer Democratic areas. Turning to New Mexico, a state with a high Hispanic population, Harris holds a lead, but not as wide as Biden's in 2020. Hispanic support for Democrats has declined in various regions, including the Southwest. Currently, New Mexico is lean blue, but it's worth watching as it could signal broader shifts within this demographic group. As we look to the Northeast, Harris is projected to win New Hampshire and Maine, but her margin of victory is smaller than in previous cycles. Both are now lean blue, and Maine's unique split electoral vote system adds another wrinkle to this complex picture. This leads us to the biggest battlegrounds: Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Each of these states is incredibly close, and they are poised to decide the election. Current polling gives Trump a small lead in all 7, which provides him with a clear path to 270. For Harris, winning the majority of these states is essential for victory, but Trump's lead in each makes it an uphill battle. Starting in Georgia, Trump holds about a 2.22 lead, marking it as lean red. This is a significant advantage, given how Biden narrowly won Georgia in 2020. Trump's support in suburban and rural Georgia remains strong, giving him a critical edge in a state that's seen as a must-win. Arizona is next, with Trump leading by 1.5. Like Georgia, Arizona is leaning likely red, with its traditionally conservative base showing strong support for Trump. If Trump wins here, it will add to his advantage across. Then we have Pennsylvania, a vital state with 19 electoral votes. Polls showed Trump slightly ahead, and both candidates are focusing heavily on Pennsylvania, given its influence on the overall map. If Trump takes Pennsylvania, Harris's chances at 270 become considerably more difficult. In North Carolina, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Michigan, Trump's edge is small, but he's holding steady in the polls. Together, these tilt-red states could be the final pieces needed for a Trump victory. If Trump takes them all, he could end up with a solid 312 electoral votes, well beyond the 270 threshold. In conclusion, based on current trends, Trump's momentum in key states places him on a strong trajectory toward a potential second term. Should these patterns hold, we may very well see Trump's return to the White House on January 20, 2025. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates.